Good, I don't know, morning, whatever it is. Weather First meteorologist Gary Frank. It's about 1:30 in the morning. You're most likely not waking up and watching this, but if you're up and you're kind of anxious or you hear rumble of thunder or you saw the buzz in your phone that there's a tornado watch, I want to give you an update before we get to the morning once part of this expires and we work on round two, because we still have to deal with a few things right now. First and foremost, we still have an active tornado watch that's in place. And you can see where these areas are specifically. They're starting to get trimmed away on the backside. And I'll zoom in on some of those areas that are starting to get trimmed away. And what I mean by that is that once we start to see that get behind, like Quincy, Springfield, that means those areas are no longer under that threat. But when you look at some of these spots like Bowling Green, Troy, O'Fallon, Missouri, they're still hanging on in this specific tornado watch until 4 a.m. But it's all part of this larger system. And in fact, actually, we actually have another tornado watch to the southwest of us till 7 o'clock in the morning. But it's all part of this large system. And as I show you, and I'll back out of this, and I want to point this out for you right now. Here's part one of this, and it was really, how is this going to hold together, interact, and we talk about that. We mentioned that throughout the evening, throughout the afternoon. There's going to be two-part window for still active severe weather, and you look at what's going on in Oklahoma City, and that's absolutely what could be happening at this point. The leading edge of this line continues to be peppered with those types of tornadoes, whether or not they're larger tornadoes, but they're on the leading edge of that. That is probably where the primary risk for severe weather is going to be for tomorrow, and I'll point that out in a second, but I want to show you what's going on right now as I zoom in. And what's gone on for the last 3 hours, as you can see how this line has started to, it held together from Columbia, and I let this loop here. That was the initial tornado warning. We had several of them in central Missouri, and that line held together pretty well. But watch how, as this whole system is kind of lifted to the north, as what is known as this low-level jet continues to lift to the north. So as we continue to see maybe a northerly flooding threat, we still have to deal with some the potential for some stronger storms later on. So be prepared for this. But I just want to kind of point out what's been going on. As I switch to a different radar product, you can kind of see this just a little bit more. Watch how I've got this over the last 45 minutes, but I'm going to switch this over the last 3 hours. And that's what I want to point out, is because in central Missouri, watch how that line right there, that I looped this once again, watch how that line went right about here and then has started to weaken and even turn to the north. That's why we don't quite see this severe weather threat, I think, as we head into the overnight hours. I'm growing less and less impressed as we watch what is this line out ahead of things. You'll notice, and I'm going to pause this for you so you can see this line right here. This line specifically is that cooler air. It's that gust front of cooler air that goes out ahead. And when it does that, it cools things down, and then those storms move into like a cooler environment. So it's not quite as significant. It's not it's not what is favorable for severe weather development. So it kind of calms things down and lessens that instability. And we're seeing more and more of that. And so I just want to put your mind to ease here just after 1:30 that you don't have to necessarily deal with tornadoes into the overnight hours right now. From the other perspective, despite the fact that we have that tornado watch in place, I do want to look at one more thing because, we're not going to be quite done with it just yet. Our severe weather outlook for tomorrow kind of lines up more along, and let me save this and kind of match it up with the big picture that I was kind of showing you and talking to you about specifically, because this big picture is really where I think that we're going to see probably how it lines up. Watch how we have this first part, we're here, and then we have this line. And now watch as I flip to the other side. You see how that lines up a little bit better? I'm going to flip this again. Let me zoom out just a little bit. It is 1:30 in the morning, so you got to give me a little bit of a break here. That way we can just have a little seamless. So we go from this line of severe weather here to flash flooding because this rain has slowly moved over the same areas. And that's what I want to turn our attention to, maybe the potential for more significant flash flooding, I think. But watch how you see that line there. Those are two things that I want to pay attention to. I think when it comes to significant slow-moving rain, the potential for flash flooding in some areas or flooding in general, but watch where that severe threat is. And I don't think that means our severe threat is over tomorrow, but we may wake up without much rain, actually. So in terms of our tornado threat, that continues to at least wind down, I think, overall. Like I mentioned, I don't think that there's as much of an issue as we continue to monitor with the National Weather Service. They're kind of on the horn as well and kind of look at what they're thinking. And I think they're going to continue to drop a few things here. But, you know, as we haven't seen too many reports of flash flooding. So it's still going to be something that they look out for the next hour or two. But still, I think that we're getting a lot closer in terms of kind of ending our severe weather threat tonight. Doesn't mean it's completely over. This is our strongest storm, but this is probably where we're going to see any sort of strong storm from Bowling Green to Pike County, south of Troy. If we're going to get something, it's going to be there. But I think I'm looking pretty optimistic here at this point, just based on the way we see things. And so I want to give you a little bit of an update here just before 2 o'clock on our severe weather threat. And that may be the case here as they're continuing to monitor whether or not they're going to keep those tornado watches. As this moves through, I think they'll start to lessen counties, and you don't have to worry about anything more than louder thunderstorms. And we'll keep you posted here on Sunday for our second round for the afternoon and evening.